But now to a story first on Fox. House Republicans dropping a bombshell report on the origins of the coronavirus, saying it's time to dismiss that wet market as a source because they say all the evidence points to the Wuhan lab. The report lays out some new information questioning the lab's safety and claims that officials there requested bids to renovate the lab's air safety and waste treatment systems just months before the pandemic began. What does all this mean? Let's bring former State Department spokesperson Morgan Ortagus. So, Morgan, what do you think the significance is of these shocking findings that something's going on there at the lab?
Eric, I think what this shows is that the House Foreign Affairs Committee, led by Representative McCall, is really doing a fantastic job on continuing to expose circumstantial evidence that leads more and more towards the fact that this virus, that COVID, may have come from the Wuhan lab. Now, no one knows that for sure, right? We've been saying that for a long time. But for a year and a half, Mike Pompeo and our team at the State Department, President Trump, were talking about what was going on at the Wuhan lab and trying to raise concerns. Unfortunately, it wasn't until the spring of this year that the regular mainstream media in the United States started paying attention to this, but they were paying attention to it in Australia. A lot of the stuff that's being reported now, actually the Australians pointed out last year, Eric. So I don't know that we're ever going to find the one, missing piece of evidence, right? I don't know that we're going to find the bullet.
Don't give up hope. Don't give up hope so easily.
But the problem is, and one of the reasons why we may not find that, why we have to continue to rely on this very important circumstantial evidence. I mean, the House Foreign Affairs Committee report also points out that there was increased hospitalizations in the fall of 2019. So the reason that we have to rely on this, Eric, is because the Chinese Communist Party refuses to this day to open up, to allow investigators, to allow scientists to have any sort of investigation that would get to the real origins of COVID.
Yeah,
They're hiding
something. The vice chairman of the Chinese Health Commission, they're blocking the WHO from having an investigation.
That's right.
He said, quote, "It is impossible for us to accept such an origin tracing plan. It is impossible." They don't want authorities to investigate where this came from. And you know why?
Right.
Well, here's your former boss, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, who I interviewed over the weekend. He has no doubt that the Chinese did this, and they're covering it up. Here's Pompeo.
They know that they have lied to the world, they know that they have lied to their own people, and they know that they foisted this virus upon the world, costing millions of lives and now billions and billions of dollars worth of wealth. The last thing the Chinese Communist Party is to be stuck with the stain of having operated a lab, covered it up, disappeared journalists, disappeared doctors, only to have the WHO come in and find that, in fact, it did come from that laboratory.
So, Morgan, how does the world hold Beijing to account for all the death and for all the destruction?
Listen, what we know is that the Chinese Communist Party is hiding something. We don't know what they're hiding, but we need governments around the world, as you've pointed out, Eric, to try and hold them responsible. But what's actually happening right now is you're seeing even Tedros, the head of the WHO, who is the Chinese handpicked head of the WHO, even he is saying that the Chinese aren't opening up. And what are we seeing happen whenever the Chinese refuse to allow investigators in? Well, they're still being rewarded with trade deals with the European Union, who continues to push for this. It's still business as usual in many parts of the world. And as we see this Delta variant rip through the United States and we continue to see people still suffer from COVID, it's important to remember, Eric, that we will never get to the origins of this virus and how it all started until somebody around the world, and hopefully it's this administration, our administration tried, until we stand up and demand accountability. So we don't know what the Chinese Communist Party is hiding, but as Mike Pompeo pointed out, we know they're hiding something, and we know they lied.
China, come clean on COVID. Morgan Ortagus. Morgan, good to see you. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.